on global platforms. Latest news from India and around the world. In-depth analysis of global headlines. Watch DD India in your country. Available for downlink in Central Asian countries. STTV broadcast is available through the satellite GSAT 17 at 93.5 degrees east. HDTV broadcast is available through the satellite GSAT 10 at 83 degrees east. For technical details, scan here. Switch to DD India now.
कोरोना के विरुद्ध लड़ाई में सही और सटीक जानकारी है अहम। भ्रामक प्रचार को दूर करने और लोगों की शंकाओं के समाधान के लिए दूरदर्शन ला रहा है विशिष्ट डॉक्टरों की राय अपने डॉक्टर स्पीक कार्यक्रम में हर रोज
दोपहर 3 से 4 बजे डीडी न्यूज और डीडी इंडिया पर।
अपने सवालों के लिए डायल करें 011-233-87-031।
देश के ग्रामीण पिछड़े क्षेत्रों में सामुदायिक स्वास्थ्य पर जमीनी स्तर पर काम करने वाली
हमने गांव के कुछ चौथी से 7वीं 8वीं पास लड़कों को हमने पहले सिखाया। दाइयों को जो पूरी अनपढ़ थी उनके लिए हम लोगों ने ब्रेथ काउंटर नाम का एक इक्विपमेंट डिजाइन किया।
स्थानीय लोगों को प्रशिक्षित कर आरोग्य स्वराज की संकल्पना साकार करने में प्रयासरत
गांव की महिलाओं को हमने चुना, उन्हें हम स्त्री आरोग्य दूत कहते हैं और उनको हमने ये सब चीजें सिखाई और उसका परिणाम ये हुआ कि 2 साल में हमारा शिशु मृत्यु दर 80 से 30 तक गया।
विश्व भर में अपने सामुदायिक स्वास्थ्य कार्यों के लिए प्रसिद्ध डॉक्टर रानी बंग से होंगे रूबरू। कार्यक्रम तेजस्विनी में।
Prime Minister Narendra Modi participates virtually in the first outreach sessions of the G7 summit in UK, highlights India's whole-of-society approach to fight the pandemic, also commits India's support for collective endeavours to improve global health governance, says meeting should send out a message of One Earth, One Health for the whole world. India continues the fight against the COVID pandemic, records over 80,000 new cases in the last 24 hours, lowest in 71 days. Active caseload declines to less than 10 lakhs. Recovery rate increases to 95.26%. Vaccination drive on a steady path, over 25.31 crore vaccine doses delivered. States continue to unlock in a phased manner amid declining COVID-19 cases. From tomorrow, graded unlock to unfold in Himachal Pradesh and Karnataka. Mumbai continues to remain under lockdown. Mizoram and Goa extend lockdowns. The US and South Korea reaffirm cooperation toward denuclearization of Korean Peninsula, also stress the importance of multilateral cooperation to address other regional issues. World #1 player Novak Djokovic to face Greeks Stefanos Tsitsipas in French Open Men's Final 2021. Czech's Barbora Krejcikova wins the maiden Grand Slam in the French Open Women's Final. Hello and welcome. You're watching DD News and DD India with me, Munmun Bhattacharya. Our top story. Prime Minister Narendra Modi participated in the first outreach session of the G7 summit. The session, titled Building Back Stronger Health, focused on global recovery from the coronavirus pandemic and on strengthening resilience against future pandemics. During the session, the Prime Minister expressed appreciation for the support extended by the G7 and other guest countries during the recent wave of COVID infections in India. He highlighted India's whole of society approach to fight the pandemic, synergizing the efforts of all levels of the government, industry and civil society. He also explained India's successful use of open source digital tools for contact tracing and vaccine management, and conveyed India's willingness to share its experience and expertise with other developing countries. Prime Minister Modi committed India's support for collective endeavours to improve global health governance. He sought the G7's support for the proposal moved at the WTO by India and South Africa for a TRIPS waiver on COVID-related technologies. Prime Minister Modi said that the meeting should send out a message of One Earth, One Health for the whole world, calling for global unity, leadership and solidarity to prevent future pandemics. Prime Minister emphasized the special responsibility of democratic and transparent societies in this regard. Prime Minister will participate in the final day of the G7 summit on Sunday and will speak in 2 sessions. G7 leaders on Saturday adopted a rival plan to oppose China's Belt and Road Initiative by building infrastructure in poorer nations in a values-driven, high-standard and transparent partnership. The adoption of the US-inspired Build Back Better World or B3W project came after President Joe Biden and leaders met to address strategic competition with China and commit to concrete actions to help meet the tremendous infrastructure need in low and middle income countries. The G7, the world's 7 wealthiest democracies, have also committed to a new plan to stop future pandemics. The measures include cutting the time needed to develop and license vaccines and treatments for COVID-19 to under 100 days. The plan will be officially unveiled today alongside the final summit communique. Globally, more than 17.64 crore people have had the infection since the outbreak began, with over 38 lakh COVID-related deaths. India continues to see a decline in COVID-19 cases. The country has registered 80,834 new cases in the last 24 hours and is the lowest after 71 days. The active caseload further dipped to 10,26,159. In the last 24 hours, as many as 1,32,062 patients have recovered. With this, a total of 2,80,43,446 patients have recovered so far. And India's recovery rate has now advanced to 95.26%. Recoveries continue to outnumber the daily new cases for the 31st consecutive day. While on the one side, testing has been enhanced across the country, a continued decline in weekly positivity rate has been noticed, and that stands at 4.74%, while the daily positivity rate stands at 4.25%. It has remained less than 10% for 20 consecutive days now. Under the largest vaccination drive, the country continues to inoculate its population against COVID-19. Over 25 crore vaccine doses have been administered so far, and more than 34 lakh vaccinations were done in the past 24 hours. With substantially ramped up testing capacity across the country, a total of 19,312 tests were conducted in the last 24 hours in the country. Cumulatively, India has conducted over 37 crore 81,32,474 tests so far. As part of the nationwide vaccination drive, the centre has been supporting states and union territories by providing them COVID vaccines free of cost. Over 26.64 crore vaccine doses have been provided to states and union territories so far through the Government of India, through the free of cost channel and through direct state procurement category. Of this, the total consumption including wastages is over 25 crore doses. Over 1.53 crore COVID vaccine doses are still available with states and union territories to be administered. Furthermore, more than 4 lakh vaccine doses are in the pipeline and will be received by states and union territories within the next 3 days. Noted cardiologist and CMD of Medanta Medicity, Dr. Naresh Trehan, has said antibody cocktail could reduce hospitalization need by 70% and be given to children in certain cases. He was speaking on an exclusive edition of Doctor's Chat, a special COVID series, and Dr. Trehan added that antibody cocktail blocks the reproduction of spiked protein. Hence, it is a new game changer in beating the pandemic. Here's an excerpt from the show.
I'm talking about this antibody cocktail, which you've called a new weapon to deal with this current variant of virus COVID that we are dealing with. Give us more clarity, and do you think it could be one of those one-stop solutions?
Well, if somebody gets infected by the COVID-19 virus, the normal thing that happens is in the first 7 days, the virus multiplies inside the body. And to multiply, it hooks up into the cells of the person, the infected person, draws nutrition from the cells of the body and multiplies from that nutrition. So we have been looking at many ways of how to stop the virus at different stages. Right? So one of the solutions which the scientists have developed is what we call a antibody combining two of them, which will block the virus. Much like what our body is supposed to do, but because it's a new virus, the body doesn't have antibodies against it. These are antibodies designed scientifically in the lab to be able to block the virus in the very early stages. So what it does it prevents the virus, this cocktail, there is the two cocktails have to be in a way because they act in tandem in two different ways. So one, when you inject it in the first few days of the virus, that it is the most effective at that point because it does not let the virus multiply. The second phase that comes is, depending on the viral load, the body then reacts and creates this response, immune response, which is what we call the cytokine phase.
Okay.
And that cytokine phase causes a lot of damage to the body, but it is triggered by the virus. So if you limit the virus, the less the response from the body because the virus is already weak or numerically very low. So that's how it is successful in blocking the progression of the disease. The government did an admirable job of keeping this country alive, although there were some pockets of tragedies. But a nation of 135 crore people with a country with a democracy, to keep it going like this.
Does anything worry you?
Yeah, I worry all the time about the fact that how people will behave, how many people will suffer, because we have seen, we are doctors to save lives. We have seen too much destruction, too many lives lost. So inside we cry all the time because we know the suffering of the people, the families. Ultimately, we are face to face with the families and the patient, and we know what they are going through. So we've all lost friends, we've all lost near and dear ones, and so it has been a very tragic 3 months.
You can watch the entire show tonight on DD News at 7:30 p.m. and on DD India at 8:30 p.m. Well, as the downward trend continues for the COVID-19 cases in Delhi, Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal today announced more relaxations as part of reopening the national capital in a phased manner. As per the new directions, all the markets can now reopen without following the odd-even criteria. Restaurants will be allowed to open at 50% seating capacity from tomorrow. However, no gathering of any sort will be allowed in Delhi. Schools, colleges, cinema halls and swimming pools will remain shut until further orders. It will be recalled that on 31st May, Chief Minister had announced phased reopening of Delhi. The services of Delhi Metro also resumed for the general public with a 50% seating capacity last week. Notably, the COVID-19 situation has improved significantly in Delhi over the past few days. As the COVID-19 situation in Maharashtra has improved, the relaxations on COVID curbs announced earlier will remain in place. Restrictions in 21 districts of Maharashtra, including Thane and Pune, will be there from Monday. They will be relaxed on the basis of a weekly corona positivity rate and availability of beds. However, the existing restrictions will remain in place in Mumbai to avoid congestion. Mumbai Municipal Corporation has taken this decision to avoid risk. Mumbai will continue to remain in the level 3 category of the Maharashtra government's unlock plan to ease restrictions. In view of the city's size and population density, daily arrival of huge number of commuters from other parts of the Mumbai metropolitan region and the Met Department's warning of very heavy rainfall in the next few days, Municipal Corporation has taken this decision. The infection positivity rate in Mumbai has dipped to 4.4% and oxygen bed occupancy is 27.12%. Karnataka will also unlock in a graded manner from Monday. The lockdown in the state for over a month will be lifted in a 5-phased manner. The Karnataka government has issued fresh guidelines regarding lockdown curbs being eased in 19 districts from 14th June. Opening of parks and industrial units with riders, extending the duration of shops selling essential goods and permission for autos and taxis to ply with a maximum of 2 passengers are among the relaxations. However, public transport and metro services will remain suspended. The timing to buy essential commodities will be extended to 6 a.m. to 2 p.m. The COVID-19 curfew will remain in place from 7 p.m. to 5 a.m. and the weekend curfew will be imposed from 7 p.m. on Friday to 5 a.m. on Monday, after the current lockdown in the state comes to an end on 14th June. The stringent lockdown measures will continue in 11 districts with high positivity rate till the 21st of June. The unlock process will also begin in Himachal Pradesh from Monday. Shops will now be allowed to open from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. All shops and stores will remain closed on weekends to check the spread of the deadly COVID-19 infection. While offices have been allowed to function with 50% staff, intra-state public transport will also resume with 50% occupancy from the 14th of June. At present, buses will not ply on interstate routes. The state government has also waived off the requirement of a negative RT-PCR test for entering Himachal Pradesh after 14th June. In Mizoram, the ongoing restrictions of the total lockdown in urban areas will continue for another week till 4 a.m. on the 21st of this month. The State Disaster Management Authority on Saturday decided to continue with the ongoing restrictions to prevent further escalation of COVID-19 cases in the state. As per the order, the current restrictions of total lockdown will continue in Aizawl Municipal Corporation and district headquarters towns with total restrictions on inter-district movement. All markets and inter-district movement will also remain suspended, while standalone shops are allowed to open from 5 a.m. to 8 a.m. every day. Vegetable shops and localities will remain open from 5 a.m. to 3 p.m. only on Friday. The state government first clamped a lockdown on 10th of May for a week and has extended it on weekly basis to curtail the rate of infection. Meanwhile, Goa government has extended its corona curfew in the state till 21st of this month to keep a check on spread of infection. Shops including in Panchayat and municipal markets are allowed to open between 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. Marriage ceremonies up to 50 persons have been permitted. A detailed order will be issued by the district collector in this regard. The statewide curfew was to end on Monday. Goa is under corona curfew from the 9th of May due to a rise in COVID-19 cases. Initially, curfew was announced for 15 days. However, it was extended to curb COVID cases. Meanwhile, the Goa Chief Minister has appealed to all persons above 18 years of age to get themselves vaccinated at their nearby vaccination center. Some weather news now. Mumbai Regional Meteorological Center has informed that the cyclonic circulation in Arabian Sea has weakened and shifted towards Karnataka, due to which warnings issued for Mumbai are lowered. Now, red category warnings are issued for Raigad and Ratnagiri for today and tomorrow. The Met Department has warned that thunderstorms with lightning, gusty winds and extremely heavy rains are expected at isolated places. Orange category warnings have been issued for Palghar, Thane, Mumbai and Sindhudurg for the next few days. The Met Department said heavy to very heavy rains are expected at few places in these districts. Conditions are favorable for further advance of the monsoon into some or more parts of Madhya Pradesh, remaining parts of Chhattisgarh, Odisha, West Bengal, Jharkhand, Bihar and some parts of eastern UP during the next 24 hours. The Met Department said monsoon has further advanced into remaining parts of Northwest Bay of Bengal, some parts of Odisha, some parts of West Bengal and some parts of Jharkhand and Bihar. Monsoon has entered Bihar a day ahead of its scheduled onset, bringing widespread showers in several districts of the state. Northeastern districts like Purnia, Katihar, Kishanganj, Araria, Saharsa, Supaul and Madhepura received the first bout of southwest monsoon showers. Patna also witnessed 31 mm rains. According to the Met Department, monsoon will cover the entire state in the next 24 hours. Meanwhile, the timely arrival of monsoon has cheered tillers and farmers who are preparing for sowing kharif crops. Let's move to some international news now. The U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken and South Korean Foreign Minister Chung Eui-yong have reaffirmed a commitment between their countries and Japan to work closely towards the denuclearization of the Korean Peninsula. The statement issued after the two met on the sidelines of a Group of 7 summit referred to efforts that have made little or no progress toward getting Pyongyang to abandon its nuclear arsenal. Blinken and Chung also stressed on the importance of multilateral cooperation to address other regional issues, including the return of the path to democracy for the people of Burma, referring to a military coup in Myanmar imposed earlier this year. Talks between Iran and global powers resumed on Saturday with the goal of trying to restore the 2015 agreement to contain Iranian nuclear development that the Trump administration had abandoned in 2018. This is the 6th round of talks within the framework of the Joint Commission of the JCPOA. Senior diplomats from China, Germany, France, Russia and Britain are hoping to complete the negotiations this time. Earlier on Thursday, US had removed sanctions on 3 former Iranian officials and 2 companies that previously traded Iranian petrochemicals. Reacting to this, Iran's foreign ministry spokesman had said it was not a sign of goodwill. In Colombia, bodies of 7 miners were found on Saturday after an explosion in a coal mine in the Colombian department of Boyacá. This development has brought the death toll to 9 as per local authorities. 3 workers were rescued and the other 2 bodies were found on Friday. The director of the National Mining Agency, Juan Miguel Duran, has sent his condolences to the families of those who died in the mine, which is located near the municipality of Socha. Britain's Foreign Secretary Dominic Raab on the sidelines of the G7 summit has said that Britain wishes to ease tensions with the European Union over trade with Northern Ireland, repeating a warning that the bloc had to realize the province was part of the United Kingdom. While giving this update, Raab said that Britain cannot have both Northern Ireland Protocol being applied in a very lopsided way or the Good Friday Agreement being affected by it.
We want tensions eased, we want a flexible, pragmatic approach. What we cannot have is both the Northern Ireland Protocol being applied in a very lopsided way or the Good Friday Agreement being undermined as a result of it. We need a bit of respect here and also, frankly, an appreciation of the situation for all communities in Northern Ireland.
Swiss voters are casting ballots in a referendum which could see their country become only the 2nd in the world to ban synthetic pesticides. If approved, the pesticide initiatives would go much further than the handful of towns and regions around the world that have already banned all synthetic pesticides. Swiss voters are casting ballots in a referendum on a proposed carbon dioxide law that would hike fees and taxes on fuels that produce greenhouse gases. Voting is also taking place on other initiatives, including anti-terrorism legislation and emergency COVID-19 funding. Switzerland's system of direct democracy means all major decisions in the Alpine nation are taken at the ballot box. And Jeff Bezos' space venture Blue Origin auctioned off a seat on its upcoming first crewed space flight on Saturday for $28 million. The winning bidder will fly to the edge of space with the Amazon founder and his brother Mark on Blue Origin's New Shepard rocket, scheduled to launch on the 20th of July. Bidding opened at $4.8 million but surpassed $20 million within the first few minutes of the auction. The auction's proceeds will be donated to Blue Origin's education-focused non-profit club for the future that supports kids interested in the future STEM careers. Blue Origin Director of Astronaut and Orbital Sales, Ariane Cornell, said during the auction webcast that New Shepard's first passenger flight will carry 4 people, including Bezos, his brother, the auction winner, and a 4th person that is to be announced later. The Westminster Kennel Club Dog Show finals are shaping up to be a clash of canine titans. About 2,500 dogs are competing in the 145th Annual Westminster Kennel Club Dog Show on the grounds of the Lyndhurst Estate in Tarrytown in New York on Saturday and today. The Westminster Kennel Club Dog Show, usually held in February in New York City, was moved from its longtime home of Madison Square Garden to an outdoor event at the Lyndhurst Estate due to the coronavirus pandemic. No spectators or vendors are allowed to attend the show due to the state's COVID-19 regulations. Any human participants must show proof of COVID-19 vaccination or a negative COVID-19 test within 72 hours of entry. In tennis, world number 1 Novak Djokovic will clash with Greek 5th seed Stefanos Tsitsipas in the men's singles final. Serbian Djokovic reached his 6th French Open final after ending Rafael Nadal's 4-year reign on Friday. In Euro Cup, England and Croatia will face each other in their Group D Euro 2020 match today, which will mark only the 3rd occasion that the two teams will face each other in a major tournament. In their first meeting at the 2004 Euro, England beat Croatia 4-2, whereas 14 years later, Croatia trumped the Three Lions 2-1 in the semi-final of the 2018 World Cup. Croatia taking part in the 6th UEFA European Championship, while England in their 10th. In another match, Austrians will open play in Group C against North Macedonia in Bucharest. The two teams met twice in qualifying for the tournament, with Austria winning 4-1 and 2-1. The Netherlands are also in action as they face Ukraine in Group C match today. After finishing 3rd at the 2014 World Cup, Netherlands did not qualify for Euro 2016 or the 2018 World Cup, but after a 7-year absence from major tournaments, the Dutch are back under Frank de Boer and looking to restore themselves as forces to be reckoned with. That's it then in this edition of the news. Do continue to follow all the COVID-19 related precautions whenever you move out of your homes, or even when you're inside when there are other people around. Keep your masks on. Thanks for watching.